Welcome to Funnels and Follow-Up. We're back again.
It's like we're always here.
I know. It's like this is our home.
And if you check us out on the podcast channels or on YouTube, you can always find us.
And Facebook.
And Facebook. And Facebook, Facebook, we have the Funnels and Follow-Up page. YouTube, we have the Cohen Coaching channel.
With the funnels, and it has the Funnels and Follow-Up playlist on the Cohen Coaching channel, just to confuse the hell out of everybody.
And so, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you can't get a hold of us, don't try to get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us through, the podcast players like iTunes and Spreaker and all those, or you can go on to YouTube or Facebook if you are, not able to sleep and you need a little Barry and Catherine.
I'm not sure we want to put people to sleep.
But, maybe they can't sleep and they want to build their business because, why just lay there staring up at the ceiling when you could build your business?
I agree.
Instead? Okay.
Let's talk about today's guest, shall we?
Today's guest is our friend and colleague and
all around nice guy,
Rick Allen. In the mid 90s, which was an entire millennium ago, Rick was providing technical support to 300 plus attorneys, as well as the executive staff that formed the impenetrable wall around what was then one of the largest manufacturing companies in the world. So he saw firsthand what it was like to be surrounded by attorneys, how they thought, they lived, they act, they work differently. And these days, Rick provides simple, affordable, effective subscription-based services that form the same kind of wall of protection around small businesses, their employees, solopreneurs, couplepreneurs like us, and everyday folks like you and me. So Rick is part of LegalShield, and I want to welcome Rick to the show. Hi, Rick.
Hello. Thank you.
It's good to see you, Rick. It's been a good, 3 days since we saw you last?
Yeah, something like that.
It has been like forever, yes.
It has been. So how are you?
Fantastic. Great morning.
Beautiful morning.
It's sunny out there.
It's always sunny in Phoenix. They say it's always sunny in Philadelphia, but the truth of the matter is it's always sunny in Phoenix.
Well, the nice part is, having come from the Detroit area, I tell people, when it's gray and cloudy here, it's like a bright sunny day in Michigan.
And so it is. So it is indeed. So Rick, let's jump right into it.
Hold on. Before we jump into it, we need a disclaimer. We are not attorneys, and anything we say on this show should not be construed as legal advice because we're not that smart.
That's right.
That's right. But we can get you attorneys who are very, very smart.
Please continue.
Rick, what are we talking about? What the hell is LegalShield?
Well, LegalShield, glad that you asked that question. It's a good opener, but simply put, LegalShield is simply a plan. It's a subscription plan, as you mentioned, that gives people access to simply pick up the phone, never, ever have to make a financial decision before they pick up the phone and talk with an attorney.
Okay, and when you say financial decision, you don't have to make a financial decision.
Right.
We're business owners. We're counting pennies. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, absolutely. So, I've had instances where I've needed the services of an attorney. And when you do that, you have to think, okay, what is this going to cost? At $300 on the average per hour. I don't make that much yet. I'm working on it, but I don't make that much yet. So you have to really think twice. And especially, if you're an individual or a small business, you're just starting up, the idea that you're going to go out and get some services that cost that much.
Yeah.
You really have to think twice before you even pick. And the problem with that for the business owner, or even just an individual, is simply that now they're weighing their rights against that $300 an hour bill.
Yeah.
And so it's not a great place to be. You
Right.
really want to be in a position where you're more like the folks that I used to support, the executive staff at that manufacturing firm. They didn't think twice about walking down the hall and talking to Fred or Betty or Sue or whoever the attorney was that specialized in that area. They just walked down the hall, went in the door, and started that conversation.
Yeah.
So it's so nice as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to be able to have that kind of position. It keeps you, instead of going to the attorney now to get out of trouble, you're going to the attorney to stay out of trouble, to never get there.
It's trouble,
So
right?
you're able to practice preventive legal care.
And the funny thing is, you were talking about, they're making the decision $300 an hour or, take my chances. Odds are, if you take your chances, it's going to cost a heck of a lot more than $300.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it can put you out of business when you figure. I started looking up the other day in preparation for some other things, just how many laws are there in the United States? And of course, the answer was nobody knows.
Not many.
There's probably 4,000 to 5,000 new federal laws on an annual basis. That's not to mention all of the state laws, all the local laws, ordinances. How many of those are we obligated to obey?
All of them.
3.
All of them.
Oh, I thought only 3.
Yeah. All of them,
Right.
even if they contradict each other.
Even if they contradict each other, that's exactly. I mean, look at the tax code. That's.
I'd rather not, thank you.
Now, if you're having problems staying awake at night, that might be the place to go. Or it will scare you and you'll never sleep again. I don't know which.
One of the two. One of the two. Absolutely.
One of the two. But with the tax code, there's conflicting things even within there, and you're obligated to obey it all. So how can anybody who's trying to be a specialist in their business area know all of those things too? I mean, just like you might hire an accountant because you're not one, and that's, you didn't go into the bakery business to keep books. You went in to bake wonderful food. And so, you want to leave those specialties to the people who do that. That is their baked goods, if you will.
And we've been talking, just real quick. I want people to understand. We've been talking, the number we've been throwing out, $300 an hour, $300 an hour. LegalShield is a subscription service that costs a fraction of that. So,
Right.
Oh, yes.
so
Right.
just wanted to be clear on that before people tune out and go, holy moly.
Well, not only that, the show is okay. So the show is funnels and follow up. So how the heck does this help in my funnel or my follow up? If you're running a business, you're going to have legal questions, legal issues. So before you create the funnel to attract your ideal clients, before you've attracted them in and prospects and you start following up with them and doing work for them, because the whole purpose of this is to get clients and do work for them and make money. You want to make sure that everything you do is, I don't want to say above board, because I'm going to assume that everybody who's tuning into this show is running their business above board.
Yeah.
You want to make sure your business is protected, because
That's the word. Yes.
all the work that you've done, if you're not protected, if that contract that you have has a loophole in it, if you can't collect from, your clients, and you've got to be sending out strong collection notices, if you have a question about a contract you're about to enter into and you don't have anybody on your side, that's not protection. You don't have a business. The rest of this doesn't make a difference if you're not protected.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So
Absolutely.
So Rick, is LegalShield basically for people who can't afford an attorney?
So glad that question was asked, because I get it quite often. People will make that comment. I like to think of it, but here's the thing. Yes, people who could not afford to go out and just hire an attorney off the street can now afford to have an attorney. I mean, I've actually got clients who are on public assistance programs because they get into situations, they rent apartments where landlords are not treating them right and things of that nature. But I like to think of it this way. And this is how people who are smart with their money access the legal system and gain access to their rights and protect their best interests.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little bit different perspective.
Why pay $10,000 a month in a retainer if you don't have to? Why pay $1,000 a month in a retainer if you don't have to?
Right.
For an attorney.
Exactly.
Well, the only time you should pay $10,000 on a retainer is when you have two coaches that you need on retainer all the time. Just saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we're not even that expensive. So
Yet.
No.
But you're still two for the price of one.
That's right.
Two for the price of one. So what do I need an attorney for? I have a small business, I'm just giving advice. I can't hurt anyone. I don't make a product that a child could swallow. I give advice. I do accounting. I take pictures. Why do I need an attorney?
Oh, wow. So many things. In fact, we've got a document, 101 reasons to use your LegalShield plan. And 101 doesn't even scratch the surface. So all of the things you mentioned, you're a photographer. Well, how about a photo release? Not just a photo release, but a photo release that has been reviewed by your attorney to make sure that all of the things that you need are in there. That's a very common document. You
Right.
can download them off of Google someplace all over the place. Do they comply with your local laws? Or let's say you're a photographer here in Arizona and tomorrow you're flying out to shoot a wedding in Tampa. Does it comply with those laws? These are the kind of things that just can come up with everyday life, with everyday business, and you simply want to be able to pick up the phone without the thought of how much it costs and say, is this okay? Is this within my rights to do? If I do this, what is the possible consequences? Somebody else is trying to do this to me, or they want me to sign a document. Take a peek at it. It looks okay to me as a business owner. I read English, but in legalese, does it say what I think it says?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so often it's not just what's in the contract. It's often what's left out of the contract. And sometimes that can even work to your advantage. We actually had a client that had a contract reviewed, and the attorney said, well, yeah, this looks fine. I'm just surprised that this isn't in there. And the client asked the attorney, so should I tell them? He said, no, it's their problem. You might refer them to LegalShield, but no, it's not going to hurt you. So it gives you that ability, that confidence to go out and act and work, knowing that you are in full compliance. That's a scary word sometimes, compliance.
Right.
I tell people contracts, compliance, collections. Those are all things where the services of an attorney can be very, very powerful for the small business owner.
We have been proponents of LegalShield for eons. We were proponents when it was still called prepaid legal way back then. That's how long we've been using the service. That's how much we love it. And a perfect example of what you're talking about, to have attorneys just check out these contracts. In our case, several months ago, we had a one-day event. We had to rent a facility. And it was basically subletting a space in an office complex. And the contract had in there, after we showed it to the attorney, he said, why are you indemnifying the owner of the building for something that's not within your responsibility? Sorry.
Yeah, where'd that frog come from?
I have no idea with that.
Can I offer you some lemon juice and water?
Got one better, coffee. So, yeah, he says, according to this contract, if somebody trips on the sidewalk outside of where you're holding your event, you're responsible. So
Wow.
we went back with the contract and we said no. And we got the contract changed so that we were protected. And as it turns out, the person that we were getting the facility from, it protected them as well. So, it really works out. Anytime we have a new client come on board, they sign contracts with us, and that contract was reviewed by our LegalShield attorneys.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's so important to have that done. You don't want to just take a contract that you find on the internet and so, well, it was good for them, might as well use it.
Yes.
So many people do that.
Absolutely. And you can certainly get contracts that way, but obviously you want to change it. Things like put your company name in instead of whatever was in there when you download
Instead of your company here.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then have it reviewed by the attorney, because you don't know, does it comply with the laws of my state, of my municipality? Does it cover all of the things, the specific things that I need it to cover for my business? Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was great for somebody else in another time frame, in another state, for a completely different purpose. Does it suit my purpose today in my location? That's so important.
And in fairness, those contracts you get off the internet, they are a great starting point.
Mm-hmm.
They're a great place to start, because nobody wants to start writing a contract from scratch.
No.
Attorneys don't even do that anymore.
Exactly. And even if you have LegalShield and you wanted our attorneys to write a contract for you, that's not something that can be done under the plan at no additional charge. They will do that for you. But it's one of those where you would get a 25% discount. Anything that's not 100% covered is a 25% discount. But why would you do that if it's a common contract? Now, I don't know if you're doing something really odd and weird that nobody's ever done before. You might have to have a contract written, but most of us are not doing those kinds of things. So we're doing, we're landscaping, we're photographing weddings.
I am not landscaping, just for the record.
Okay. Me either. Landscaping days are over.
That's right.
All right. So to our business owners out there, what are some of the things that they are not consulting an attorney on right now that they should be consulting an attorney on?
Well, we mentioned the contracts.
Right.
Having every contract that comes in, get it reviewed. Having every contract that they put out, have it reviewed. They're about to hire somebody. They're thinking, you know what, this would be a lot less paperwork if we just do a 1099. Can you? Is it legal? What's the nature of the work they're going to do? Are you going to direct it? Are they going to be totally independent? Can you do a 1099, especially with what's going on with this kind of thing over in California? You want to know that if you hire them as a 1099 versus a W-2 employee, that you're doing it the right way, that you're covered. If you are hiring them as a W-2, what do you need to put in place? Do you need to have a manual that says, here are the rules of working here? Can you, just hire them off the street? What if you need to fire them? Now you really want to cover yourself, because there are so many lawsuits brought about today that said, well, they let me go simply because of this or that. And it doesn't even matter if they're right or if it's fair. You want to make sure that you're covered. So all of those things, you want to talk with your attorney about those.
Okay. So those are some of the things that you'll want to talk to your attorney about. What if you're running your business as a sole proprietor and you're wondering, is it time to be an S Corp? Is it time to be an LLC?
Mm-hmm.
Do I talk to my tax preparer for that? Do I talk to my LegalShield attorney for that? Do I talk to both? What, tell me a little bit about that. Where does LegalShield fit into that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, should I talk to my accountant? Absolutely, you should talk to your accountant because they can tell you the tax ramifications. Your attorney can tell you the legal ramifications. They can probably help you out with the tax stuff as well. So it's not a bad place to start. I would have that conversation if you've got an accountant with both. If you don't have an accountant, you're doing your own, you're doing the QuickBooks thing or something like that, absolutely call your LegalShield attorney and say, here's what I'm doing, here's where I'm doing it, here's the way I'm doing it. Which of these business forms is going to suit my business best? Is an LLC enough? Do I need to have an S corp? Where do I fall within that band of different business types? You might have additional activities going on, and should those be sub LLCs or sub corporations? So those are all questions you want to pass by your attorney.
In fact, that's a question that we've got to pose to our LegalShield attorney. This week about sub corporations and sub LLCs. We'd rather be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're talking a lot about business. What about personal? Mm-hmm. Do I need an attorney personally?
I wouldn't.
Bet your bippy.
Yeah, you're married to him. The guy over on my side of the screen is over here. You need one. Absolutely. Just imagine. You're obeying the laws. You're trying to do everything right. Somebody comes to your house, and you have a wonderful time. And on the way out, they have a slip and fall. You want to have a conversation with an attorney right away. You've had a traffic accident. It wasn't your fault, but can you prove that it was not your fault? What are the things that you need to put in place? Maybe the insurance companies start coming to you and trying to settle right away.
Right.
And, you're a little bit sore, but you're just not sure how things are going to come out. Should you settle right now, or should you be waiting? So these are everyday things. You don't have to do anything wrong. You don't have to be, the next star of Cops. You want to make sure that just through everyday, ordinary events, even traffic tickets, you get a traffic ticket. One of the features of the plan is that you can have every single traffic ticket reviewed by an attorney, as long as you are not under the influence of alcohol. You are driving legally, you're properly insured, then an attorney can even go to court with you at no additional cost. And just imagine, especially if you've got teenagers or you drive like one, how powerful that can be in terms of your auto insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get a fine, you get points on your record, and now your auto insurance goes up and stays up for 3 years, sometimes more.
Right, absolutely.
So, fine on top of a fine. So it's just a powerful thing to have.
Yeah, I wish I had LegalShield, oh my gosh, 22 years ago. And I know the company was around. But I pulled out of a parking lot, and a cop stopped me and told me I was speeding. And it was physically impossible for me to go the speed that he said I was going. In that span of 10 feet or whatever. My mother was in the back seat of the car yelling at the cop. Trust me, if she was speeding, I would tell you that. I should have had a LegalShield attorney, but I had my mom instead. Still got the ticket. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What about, I'm a business owner. I bill my clients don't pay.
I hear that a lot.
Do I call Tony or do I call LegalShield?
Yeah, I don't know. What is Tony's number? Do you have that?
I could tell you his last name ends in a vowel.
It might. It might.
So absolutely. Here's the thing. If you've got collection issues, having an attorney at your side that you can call on for that. And it's not always going to come to a collection letter. They might give you thoughts and ideas. That's the wonderful thing. These are people who are very, very experienced in working with business owners. And they can give you thoughts, ideas, and suggestions about how to approach your clients. But if it comes down to it, and if a collection letter is needed, depending on which of our business plans you have, each one of them is set with a certain number per month of first collection letters. So that means without having to say, okay, Mr. or Ms. Collection Agency, I'm going to give over 1/3 or 1/2 of whatever you collect in order to get at least some money coming back in my door. You can go to your LegalShield attorney. They will write that letter on your behalf. That's 100% included in your plan. There's no extra charge for that letter.
Okay.
We're talking letters that, if you go out and ask an attorney to write one, it's probably going to cost a couple of $100s to have that letter written. So you're getting the letter included in your plan, and any money that you collect based on that letter, then that's all yours. They don't keep a part of that fee. It doesn't go through the law firm. It comes straight to you, straight to your address. So you get to keep a lot more of your money. And, sometimes, you need to go to that next step. It might be a big enough issue you have to end up suing them.
Right.
And you've got a ready resource to say, do I have any other recourse left before I go spending a lot of money to get this problem solved?
Absolutely.
What
Absolutely.
I think is really neat, we've been talking about both business and personal. If you were a business owner whose business address is your home, what's really cool is you get the benefit of both. You get personal and business, because you get a personal policy and then you get a home-based business rider, I believe it's called.
Rider, yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds with that. And,
Right.
What I like about it also is Catherine and I have several different LLCs, and it doesn't matter which it is. It happens to be a business that we run out of our home. We can call up LegalShield and we can talk to them about any of our businesses. So it's such an incredible benefit to have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I talking to a paralegal, or am I talking to a lawyer?
You're talking to a real honest-to-goodness lawyer, an experienced lawyer.
Not a schlep lawyer.
Pardon me?
No
Not
schlep.
a schlep. Not a schlep lawyer who's got the.
It's not Danny DeVito.
It's not Danny.
The shirts are always tucked in.
These are professionals. They are experienced attorneys. Does our firm hire new attorneys? Absolutely, they do. But when you talk to your LegalShield attorney, I mean, we've got. The fact is, because of the way our plan works, because we are a nationwide service, in fact, we are in the United States, we are in all of Canada. You might be Nanook of the North, you can still get a great LegalShield plan, and in the UK. So we're in all of those places, but your LegalShield attorney is very, very experienced because of the size of our company and the number of members. Right here, we're in Arizona. So right here in Arizona, we have about 40,000 clients. You mentioned our old name, Kat, Prepaid Legal. And we were called that because your attorney is prepaid. That means that a portion of your membership fee goes to the law firm that services our clients. So every month, they get this huge check from LegalShield based on all the clients. So when you might have a personal plan that's costing you $25. You don't have a $25 a month attorney. You have a $300, $400, $500 a month, an hour attorney.
Okay.
For $25 per month in that case. So it is. I mean, it's just very, very powerful. They are very experienced. Very often they are actually retired attorneys. So they have a lot of experience under their belt, and they're just, they're at that point in their life where they don't want to be in court every single day. And so they're able to take a portion of that load. So you're getting very good, very experienced attorney. The average attorney in the firm that we use here in Arizona is about 17 years. That's the average.
That's not too shabby.
Yep.
So I'm paying what? I'm a business owner. I have a manufacturing company. I've got about 75 employees. I've got a building. I've got contracts. I've got all this stuff. So what's it costing me? $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month? What's it going to cost me for?
It would be a bargain at that price. Knowing businesses like that, that's the kind of numbers that they actually expect. But actually, for a business of that nature with 75 employees, you're looking at about $150 a month.
Say that again. I didn't hear that.
150.00, $150 a month.
A month.
Yes, actually 149. So just get special today only.
And that business can make LegalShield a benefit for their employees as well. So all of their employees can be signed up in LegalShield at a discount.
That's right. That's right. They can get the personal plan. The employees can get the personal plan. So there's no cost to the business owner. It's an optional, usually set up as an optional benefit. Some employers like to comp it, and that's fine if they want all their employees to have it. But some of them probably already do. The fact is, but they can offer it as an optional employee benefit. The employee pays for it out of payroll deduction, or we can do even a direct pay. We've got companies with just a few employees. We've got companies with thousands. I mean, Oprah Winfrey Network, Disney Corporation. Yes, Goofy has the membership. So be careful when you go to Disney World.
Don't punch Goofy in the nose.
That's right. He's lawyered up. City of Chandler, right here, our neighbors in Arizona, offers it to their employees. So there's a lot of employers out there. About 54,000 employers offer LegalShield to their employees as an optional benefit.
So the mouse is lawyered up. I'm still I'm still reeling on that. So if Disney thinks that everyone in their employ should have the ability to have a lawyer in their pocket, somebody to call for any reason whatsoever, maybe as a small business owner, you need to have a lawyer in your pocket for any reason whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it going to cost? A lot of the people who are listening to our show, our clients, they're solo entrepreneurs, or like Barry and I, like you and your lovely wife Kathy, who's the brains behind the operation. Are couple entrepreneurs. Maybe you have an employee or two. Maybe you just have virtual assistants that you work with as needed. How much is it going to cost somebody like that? And is this a good plan for somebody like that?
Well, once again, our largest plan for the small business owner, our largest plan would go for companies up to 100 employees. So I know that's rather limiting. That's only 99% of all of the companies in the country.
It's just not enough.
It's not enough. Companies larger than that probably are like that company I used to serve, and they've got a legal staff. They hire attorney. They don't just go hire an attorney. They have a staff of attorneys who are their employees.
Right.
So a whole different ballgame. But our largest plan is $150. We have a plan that comes in mid-range that will cover up to 50 employees. I do want to point out that the number of employees is not the only factor there. We actually have a matrix, And this is something, if people are interested, that we can send them. And it has the various services. For instance, you might have only 10 employees and you think, oh, wow, this $50 plan will be perfect. But you know that your biggest problem is, I don't know, collections.
Right.
And to get the number of collection letters you need, you really need the $150 plan. So you go through that matrix, you look at the services you need, and that's how you select your plan. But the one of the basic parts of it is that the number of employees is what we use as the stair steps to go from one plan to the other.
Okay. And what about somebody who has a side gig? A lot of people these days, they like their job, they love their job, they have a side gig, or they have a business that they're developing. All right.
Mhm.
I'm just starting out. I want to develop this business. I want to get it to a certain level before I can quit my job. So I can afford whatever it is.
Sure. They would want the
What do I need?
personal plan. They would want the personal plan
Mm-hmm.
and put on top of that what we call the home business supplement.
Okay.
So that home business supplement will cover all of their business operations. If they have tax issues and they need a legal help with that, then it's going to cover their Schedule C income, their 1099 income. So anything that you do, and here's the interesting part about that, Kat, is that very often, you've got people out here, they go buy a house,
Right.
they rent it out to somebody. Or, in my neighborhood, people buy a house in here. It's a 55 plus community, but they're traveling half the year. So they rent it out to somebody. They don't necessarily think, oh, I'm now an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. They say, no, I'm just renting out my place.
Yeah.
You're
a business owner.
You are a business owner. That's right.
Yep.
So that home business supplement is going to put you in a position where you have all the legal services that you're going to need for that small business. And so that's going to include tax issues. That's going to include contracts. That's going to include everything. So even, you might be part of a multi-level marketing company. And you think, oh, well, the company's going to cover me. Well, no, they're going to cover themselves. They're not going to cover you. If you happen to be under that umbrella when whatever it is happens, that's fine. But anybody that's operating a home-based business, they're going to be, let's call it, interfacing with the law, or running into it head first.
Yes.
So you want to have that attorney that you can call and just ask all of those legal questions. So we've got a $25 personal plan and a $10 a month home business supplement. Now, actual prices $24.95 and $9.95. So those things are going to cover all of the aspects that you're going to need as that home-based business owner. You might be an attorney. You might be a landscaper. Not you, Barry. but you might have but you operate from home. You don't have W-2 employees other than your family members. You qualify as a home business owner. So the home business supplement would be perfect in that case. Very, very cost effective.
Yeah.
And I want to put this into perspective because as home-based business owners, typically we don't have meetings in our house. We'll go to a coffee shop and meet with clients or potential clients.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all those meetings that you go to. You spend probably $50, $60, $70 a month on coffee.
Mm-hmm.
This is $35 a month. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't have to buy the attorney any coffee.
That's right.
No, you don't.
Let's do this because we've been talking about this so much. I'm sure by now our viewers and listeners would like to know where they can sign up for this because it's such a great plan. Amazingly, we created a link, cohencoaching.com/LegalShield.
It's a link. It's there.
It's a link. It's easy. Let me go ahead and put it in the comments here as well. So this way people can just click on it. And yeah, I mean,
Full disclosure, everybody out there, we're paying $35 a month, and we got an attorney. Don't mess with us. We don't have a schlep attorney. We have what is it, Davis Miles McGuire Gardner, or Davis Miles as they're called. I think are they like the #1 law firm in Arizona, or in the top 10 or something like that?
They are
huge.
In terms of size. I'm not sure where they are. They about a year ago, I read that they were number 13 in terms of size of law firms in Arizona. But recently, the Attorney Magazine, I think you might have a link for that. I sent it to you, that you might want to. It's up to you if you want to give that to your listeners. But they called LegalShield the #1 law firm in the state. U.S. News and World Report regards them as one of the top law firms, not just in Arizona, but in the entire country, based on the criteria that they were using.
And that's for here in Arizona. We're really lucky. It's the same everywhere that LegalShield goes. They don't, look in the yellow pages, look online and go, who's the cheapest attorney we can get? Right. So don't mess with us. Don't mess with us. And you know what? Here's our little LegalShield story. People have tried. People have tried, and LegalShield has put them in their place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
$35 a month.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and these also are attorneys that you call them often enough, you get to know these guys, and they're not just dry. They have senses of humor. They have fun. We actually had somebody try to sue us out of Canada, which was, regardless, it was completely frivolous and stupid.
Other company, other business.
But we called up the law firm, and they basically laughed and said, first, it's ridiculous, and second, let them try to get jurisdiction here in Arizona. They're in Canada. So, we had fun with it. He said, don't even worry about it. Send them this letter, send it to the courts, because that's how you do it in Canada. Send this letter to the courts, and it'll be done. And don't lose any sleep over this at all.
Yep.
So, it's great to have people like that on your side. Because any other attorney firm, I think, I shouldn't say any other, but many will just do whatever they can to get your money.
Well, and it's not just that they'll do whatever they can to get your money. I mean, when you think about the idea of running a law firm, having the nice building, the place that you can come to, the desk, the fancy car, and they don't all drive fancy cars, but it costs a lot of money just to go to law school. So they spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money to be in the position to do what they do. So charging $300 an hour, when you look at that, I know an attorney's mother, and she will tell you, no, it's not too much. It's not enough. So basically, here's the interesting thing is, all LegalShield has done is taken a service that used to be simply not available to the average individual or to the small business owner, and fixed the problem by saying, well, let's do just like we do with our auto insurance, like we do with medical. I mean, if we had to pay out of pocket 100% of that, $500,000 procedure that we need to save our life, we'd all be dead, right?
That's right.
So LegalShield simply said, well, let's just create a membership. Let's pay their big hourly rate, but let's pay it for a group. Let's put the power of put group buying power to work, and allow that to be what gets the attorneys the money that they need to stay in business, to operate, to be there when.
Yeah, and the power of LegalShield is that for most of the law firms throughout the whole network, LegalShield is the biggest or one of the biggest clients of the law firms. So it's not you as an individual that's the client. It's like, oh, $35 a month. It's no, LegalShield, we're making millions of dollars here. We're taking care of LegalShield people.
Exactly. And they're able to tell the law firms that service our clients, you will call them back within 4 business hours.
Mm-hmm.
You will review their contracts within 3 business days. So these are things that you can't get out there in the world normally, that you can get with LegalShield, because we are a client at that level that we can say, here are the standards at which you will operate. You will answer the phone by and I don't know what the number of rings is anymore, but second, third ring, you're going to get that phone answered and be talking to that client. They've even used the callback thing now, where if somebody can't pick up the phone right away, it tells you, if you would like to have us call you back without losing your place in line, we can do that. So they use all the latest technology to make sure that they're servicing the people that, about 2.1 million people who call into our LegalShield attorneys every single year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we've got a minute or two left, and I just want to, we've talked about LegalShield and what it does, and you, our listeners out there, your small business owners, your home-based business owners, oh my gosh, I'm never going to need a lawyer. I'm never going to need an attorney. I'm going to rattle off a few things that we've done. Rick, if you could rattle off a few things that you know of that attorneys were called on. I know for us, let me just expand on that Canada story, because it sounds like, oh my God, Barry and Catherine are terrible people. No, we used to have a software company, and someone in Canada called us. We sold our software up there too. Someone in Canada called us, said, I'm interested in using your software to build my business, to start my business. Did a demonstration of the software. Nothing ever came of it. But apparently, the person that he used to work for, same industry, person he used to work for, claimed that we went after this guy knowing he had a non-compete. How the hell would I know that he had a non-compete? Went after him knowing that he had a non-compete, and we tried to destroy his business. The person who sued us, his business. Now, how the heck would somebody know that? I wouldn't know that. You pick up the phone and call me based on my website, and we all advertise. We all want clients to call us. I mean, that's what, Barry and I do, help people get clients to call them. The ultimate happens, somebody calls you up, and then his former employer says, oh, no, you solicited him.
And neither of the two people were the Long Island medium, so they couldn't have known anything.
Right. So that's one of the crazy things that you've got to call an attorney about. Mm-hmm. What else have you ever heard?
Well, let me preface it with this, because one of the comments that I get, and so I want to address folks out there who already have LegalShield, and you're paying that monthly bill. I hear people say, "Oh yeah, I've got it. Thank God, I've never had to use it."
No, use it.
Use it.
If nothing else, you get your will done for free. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Exactly. With the personal plan, you get your will done at no extra charge. So call them about something. I've got a will. Is it enough? Do I really need something more? I got this letter in the mail. I don't know what it's about.
Ask them where you want to go for dinner. Something. Use them.
Exactly. Because the last thing you want to do is get in that position where you do need them. And now, oh man, I've never called these people before. I'm scared. I don't know what to call them. Make friends of attorneys. So it's important that you know how to use the system. So, letters in the mail that you get a letter from the IRS, from Social Security, from any government agency. You get anything coming across your desk. You get a phone call. You get a voicemail message saying, "This is the IRS. We have detected that you're using fraudulent activities to conduct your business, and we are going to come after you unless you call 1-800 and send us 25 million Bitcoin." So,
crazy stuff. Anything
of that nature, you can pick up the phone, call them. My first experience, I was in collections. They said that I owed $2,345 and some odd cents. And I had no idea what to do. I had already spent 6 months talking with customer service who agreed with me. I was still in collections. The fact that their customer service agreed with me didn't change my legal position. I was about to have this go against my credit, and I had no idea what to do next. I'm an English major. I write pretty well. I'm a speaker. I know how to talk, but it wasn't doing any good. But when a letter, and I tell people I went to seminary, my letterhead says, "Jesus loves you." There says the name of 70 attorneys down the side. And it goes to the legal department, not customer service. And that problem with one letter from the attorney that didn't cost me an extra dime above my membership made that problem go away. I can tell you, just based on the way my wife felt, it was worth every penny, many times over.
All right. So LegalShield is the way to go. You have a business. You're listening to this show because you have a business or you're starting a business. Either way, you need legal protection. You need a lawyer in your corner above, along with an accountant, a tax professional. But the guys the lawyers are, there are lawyers that specialize in taxes. There are lawyers that specialize in, should you have an LLC or S corp. There are lawyers that specialize in collections, just like doctors specialize. Lawyers specialize too. So why not have that team of lawyers? This is part of how you get people into your funnel, how you get people into your business, how you attract new clients. Because if you're not worried about, is my contract airtight? Am I doing things right? Can somebody come and sue me? If you're not worried about those extraneous things that you shouldn't be worried about, you can focus on your business.
Absolutely.
So with that,
cohencoaching.com/LegalShield for those that are on audio only and don't see the link. cohencoaching.com/LegalShield. Go there, sign up. You won't regret it. If you're a home-based business, it's a lousy $35 a month. Come on. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer for sure. So Rick, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see everyone next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.